Good, e- Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I'm proud to present my friend, my brother that I met a few years ago that I would absolutely get in the trench with today. JJ is going to give us an awesome testimony today. I love you, brother. You got this, man.
Amen. And here we are. I just want to say thank you to everybody that's come out. Uh, I'm Give me a minute. I'm trying to get my anxiety back under control. uh, I tell you what. The last couple of weeks, listened to my brother Devin with his testimony, and then with Marcia doing her little deal she done over hurt people, hurt people. Me trying to get this done amongst that, I realized I was one of them people that was hurting people because I was hurt. And it brought a lot of stuff to light. Uh, I've dealt with a lot of stuff the last couple of days because of this that I really didn't think about. I thought I dealt with it when I was in the ministry, and I pretty much did, but I didn't know exactly where it all stemmed from. So, to start out with, we used Isaiah 59:1 when we was in the ministry a lot. That's kind of the place where I went. That was their motto or whatever. And it's in the NIV, is the one I like the best. It says, "Surely the arm of the Lord is not too short to save, nor is his ear too dull to hear." And you could pull a lot of stuff from that. I found a lot of strength in that and whatnot. But anyway, all right. Growing up, I was kind of the odd duck, I guess you could say, the weird kid. Didn't have a whole lot of friends. Didn't really want any. That led to, when I did go into school, to a lot of learning problems. It was hard for me to learn the basic stuff. And back in the late 70s, early 80s, you didn't hear much about ADHD. It was basically the kid was just unruly. So in that was a lot of trips to the principal's office, and a lot of paddlings, and a lot of whoopings when I got home. My stepdad was pretty strict, and he believed in correcting you. And me being hyper, attention span about that long, I got a lot of it. In school, a lot of people picked on me because as you can tell, I'm not just a real big person. Never have, and probably never will, but that's okay. We'll get to that in a little bit. Like I said, I stayed in trouble a lot in school. On up into high school, I started seeing that I dealt with a lot of shyness. Still do a little bit, not near as bad. My self-esteem, I didn't have none. I didn't care about myself. Really didn't care a whole lot about anybody else. More or less doing what I had to do to graduate school and become a man. My confidence was bad, low. I was 15, 14, 15, I think. I discovered pills. And that was Adderall. And that, I liked it at that time. That led to the first part of my life that was pretty life-changing for me. On my 16th birthday, my mom and stepdad went out of town. He had a truck. It was a Silverado 84 model. He loved the truck. Well, I kind of hit a tree with it. A really big tree. I mean, a big tree. Totaled it out. They were going on vacation when it happened, thank goodness, because they never really found out about the pills, because that's what caused the wreck. Sorry, Mom. That led to a lot of strife with me and my stepdad. He kind of got a little physical with me quite a bit. And in doing that, I figured out that I liked the pain. Being small like I was, I figured I had to be tough because that's about all I had, because I knew I was going to end up getting beat up a lot. And I did. So doing that, I got, he threw me out literally through a screen door. And I left and went to my dad's. And in high school, when I got to my dad's, he was not quite so strict, but it was one of them places where if you didn't work, you didn't eat type places. So I was 17, and I had a lot of anger issues, and I found out drugs, weed, meth, cocaine, all that good stuff. So pretty much dealt with that up until I was 48 years old, when I finally kicked all that habit through God. I didn't realize when I was growing up and whatnot that the way I looked at myself, the way other people looked at myself, would have an impact on what I would be when I growed up. So in Mark 12:31, it says, and the second is like, namely this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. There is none other commandment greater than these. I wished I would have been in a situation to where I would have realized about my self-confidence and my self-esteem. Because there was things I wanted to do in life, but not having no confidence, I ain't going to follow through with nothing. Never really could make much of a commitment. Got married when I was 20. Had my first daughter then, which the lady I married, she had 2 daughters already, so it was pretty much instant family. We stayed high the whole time. So that marriage was brutal. There was things done in that marriage that probably never should have gotten done and said. But in the end, me and her are friends now. So there was some good come out of it. Rocked on for a few years. I got married again to a younger lady. And that time I had it in my head that she was going to be the one. So I poured my heart and soul, gave up family, friends, everything except for drugs. I gave it up for her. My main focus was to make sure she was happy. She had what she needed. Her 2 sons had what they needed. And in doing that, I lost myself. I got to where I didn't care about myself. I would work 3 jobs at times to try to get where she had what she wanted and what we needed, really. December of 2018, January of 2018, I got the best little girl that there is. Her name is Penelope. Some of y'all have met her. She is she's a handful, but she is awesome. She's a smart little girl. And I tell you what, I am glad to be able to be in her life now. She was born January the 18th of 2018. December of 18, me and her mom was divorced. And I tell you what, it pretty much done me in. I went on a 4-year binge that, anyway. June 26th of 22, I checked myself into a place called Arm 180. Maybe weighing 100. I don't even think I was weighing 100 pounds. I got there for 2 weeks. I laid out on a picnic table, and the guy over the house dad, he would literally come by every once in a while and poke me with a stick to make sure I wasn't dead. Y'all, if I wouldn't have checked myself in at that time, I'm pretty sure I probably wouldn't have made it to July, because I dealt with a lot of issues when I was there, them 2 weeks. I had no strength to do anything, and like I said, I wasn't that big around. I was a mess. Went through, God started working on me when I was there. He started giving me my health back. 90 days later, I finally got back into size 28 pants. Finally. That was after 90 days of being clean. Ephesians 5:29, 5:29 says, "For no one ever hated his own flesh, but nourished and cherished it, just as the Lord does the church." That was one of the scriptures I was given. Well, actually, it was left on my bed. I don't know who gave it to me. That they knew what I was going through, and I didn't have to tell them. And that is probably one of my most favorite scriptures there is. Couple of months into being in the ministry, I kind of got to feeling a little better about myself and whatnot. And I still told you about the anger issues I had. I was still dealing with some of them. So I started praying about that, and had some people start praying with me to help me get it under control, because I was like this close from getting kicked out. So the Lord put a guy named Mike in my path. And I tell you what, if there wasn't a bit rougher piece of sandpaper in this world, he was my sandpaper. Didn't realize it at the time, but he helped me deal with my anger. So rocked on, ended up graduating January the 29th of 23. Went into a transition house right after that. I mean, it's the day I graduated, I went straight to the transition house that night. Got a lot of help there. Started learning how to deal with life. Started learning how to be a man. The blessings that I have come out with is, y'all, everybody here, seeing the new people come through, seeing the change in them that people saw in me when I was going through the ministries and going through the transitions houses. I get to see it with some of y'all. And now, I'm going to talk about the cross for a second. I nailed something to that cross that's in his office a year and a half ago. And that was about my daughter, my youngest one. I would come in to the church at the job that me and Devin worked at. He got me interested in coming in through the week at lunchtime and doing a little prayer group that they had going on here. And I think they still got it, don't they? Yep. So if you make it on Wednesdays at lunch, it's awesome. We prayed about it. I've been praying for it for over a year. And a month ago, my daughter's mom, my ex-wife, got in contact with me, and I have now been able to start getting visitations with my daughter. I say visitations. She is actually coming to my house and spending the night with me for the weekend. Uh, yeah, that, and I've just made a lot of friends. A lot of people have backed me here. And in closing with that, find you a group of people that are on the same path as you. Try to make it where they are in different stages of that path. That way you can pull strength from them, and you can actually give strength back to the ones that are behind you or beside you or whatever. Mine's Devin and Reggie. I work with Reggie. Reggie hears a lot of my complaining and griping. But I love him. He's good. He keeps me in line while I'm at work. Jeremiah 29:11. Pretty much everybody knows this one. It says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope and a future." That was one of our sword drill when I was in the ministry. And I didn't realize just how much that scripture is true today until I actually started diving in, leaning on the Lord, and figuring out the path that He wants me to go. And that's anything else, just catch me after we're gone and we'll talk about it some more. So, thank y'all.